Yeah, I think.
Jeez.
Or it's not showing up right now. I could try resetting it. I don't know.
Yeah, give that a shot. I made mine a little darker, so it's a little more matchy.
All right, let me try resetting it.
Welcome back to today's episode of Technical Difficulties. My AirPods Max are still freaking broken. I'm legitimately, I'm gonna have to get these. I'm gonna have to go to an Apple store and get them to replace these. Like they're gone. They are simply non-functional, which is kind of ridiculous. You know what, Noah? While we're here, is there like a hard reset? Do I hold both buttons down or something? Let me look this up.
I think you can do that.
Because, I mean, my goodness. Okay, let me look this up. AirPods Max hard reset. Okay. Let's see if this will work. The noise control button and the digital crown, you just hold them both down until the status light flashes amber. So let's see when that happens. Apparently you have to hold them for quite a while. I'm not seeing it. Oh, you see it? Okay. There we go.
All right.
Let's find out. Look at that. Cole Weathers is here paying for my AirPods Max upgrade, if that is indeed necessary. They should. I mean, they're in warranty, though. If Apple doesn't replace these things or repair them somehow, I am going to be livid. Okay. Now, how does it want me to set them up? I cannot. I honestly don't remember how I set up the AirPods Max initially.
I think you just put them on and they show up on your phone or your iPad or whatever.
Let us find out, shall we? Okay. They are adorned. Not your AirPods Max. Connect. Press and hold the noise control button. Okay. Oh. I'm pressing and holding it. Let's see if that works. Welcome back to today's episode of On-Air Troubleshooting.
Speaking of which, we got the very nice an error occurred while setting up my light.
Ah, fantastic. You might have to replace that too. I think you should just return it. You can, through Amazon, I just did this with a bum printer that I ordered. You can just click like replace and they'll mail you a new one before you even send yours back.
Really?
Yeah.
That is very interesting.
This is also, it's not working. Look, I'm holding it down.
Okay.
Tisk, Apple. What's this all about, huh?
Oh, jeez.
Nothing, right? I'm not.
Try, let go of it and try it again.
Okay, I'm going to put them back in the case. And then I'm going to try one more time.
Okay.
And if it doesn't work, then I'm going to initiate a replacement. Okay. Connect. Press and hold the noise control button. Connecting. Okay, that's different.
Okay.
There they are spinning around. Oh my gosh. Press the noise control between noise cancellation and transparency. Press the digital crown once to play pause, twice to skip forward, and 3 times to skip turn to adjust the volume. Okay, thank you. Got it. What I'm more interested in is them working.
Indeed.
Press the volume controls. Okay, don't care about any of that. I don't want you to. Please don't announce calls. Please, for the love of Christ.
That is the most annoying thing. And every, on iOS 15, it re-enabled it. And every time I always disable it. So annoying. I hate that.
Oh my gosh. Look how many things it's going to automatically announce. I don't want any of this.
No, turn it off.
Game Center? Why would I want you to say, "Hey, guess what? Game Center, which you haven't used since 2014, has an announcement for you that's very important."
We need to interrupt your music and whatever you're doing to tell you this.
Okay. I think they're connected. Now the question is, will they connect on the iMac?
Good question.
It says they are, but I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you coming out of the computer, but you're not coming out of the AirPods.
That's no good.
Let's see. Okay, we'll try to switch. Try it again.
All right, how about now? How are we doing right now? Are we good right now?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. Nope, nope, nope. Okay, hello, hello. Is this going to work? Okay, let me try to disconnect them from my phone. Is it still showing that they're on my phone?
Okay.
Okay, now I've turned off Bluetooth on my phone.
Bold move.
Speak. Nope, it's no. Oh my gosh.
No.
Okay, I have desktop speakers plugged into the iMac. I've unplugged those now.
Okay.
No, it's coming out of the iMac Pro speakers.
Oh no.
It won't. I click on it. I'm in the output settings, clicking on the AirPods Max, and I click on it, and it goes for like 2 seconds, and then it just switches back all on its own.
Gotta love that. Try disabling that. I would, because if you just reset it, it probably turned that back on where it switches automatically. Maybe you could try turning that setting off.
Well, it's not connected to anything else because I disabled Bluetooth on my phone. This other iMac here doesn't show them being connected. Oh my god. Why? This is why. Wrong. Yeah, no, these are broken, folks. Because I just reset it. This is the exact same thing.
Well,
fantastic.
You have video evidence to show to Apple.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm legitimately flabbergasted. That's so bad. That's so bad. Why are they why are these headphones so expensive and they can't even get the software to work? I can't believe that. But the Apple's whole thing is like, it just works. The software is great. And it literally, I have a pair of Bluetooth headphones that will not connect and play audio. What the heck is that? Now, let me see if, okay, real quick here, because we're about to start. So make sure you've got your QuickTime Player audio recording ready to go.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I hit the wrong button like 3 times. Okay. Audio recording, that's what I wanted. I'm now back on the iPhone. I'm not connected to them. Let's see if I can connect. Okay, AirPods Max show up. I can tap on it. And let's see if they'll work on the iPhone, because that's where I just paired them to. So if they don't work here, game over. Okay, they're connected, they're playing, and I've got spatial audio. So they're connecting here, but they will, and the iMac still says that they're connected, by the way, even though I was just playing music on my phone.
Okay, interesting.
So there you have it, folks. AirPods Max, $550 product that is incapable of switching Bluetooth inputs, I guess. Oh, good grief.
Yeah, that is not what we want to see.
Unbelievable. Okay. Well, fortunately, I guess, well, actually, unfortunately, these, I just realized how much how much troubleshooting I'm gonna have to do when I take it to Apple, because you know how they refuse to like test anything. They refuse to just be like, oh, let's see if it's broken. They're like, oh, you got to reset it. Oh, did you repair it? And then it's gonna connect to the phone in the Apple Store. I don't even think they're gonna fix these things.
I would, if you can get try it on a laptop, and if you have the same issue with the laptop, just bring the laptop with you.
That is a good idea. And on that good idea, I think we can get started here, shall we?
Yes.
Oh my goodness, what a pain. Okay, let's go ahead and start our audio recordings, shall we?
All right, sound is speeding.
Haha, good reference. No one else is going to get that, but we get that. Okay. Welcome to Drk Mode, the podcast that brings you sage advice from two technology experts. And that's not just when we call ourselves, it's what our moms call us when the iPad is mini. I'm your host, Luke Miani, and I butchered my intro.
And I'm your host, Noah Rubin. On this show, we take questions from listeners, attempt to answer them to varying degrees of success, and maybe even have a laugh or two along the way.
And as I am fully aware from a number of comments that have ever so kindly pointed it out to me, there might be echo in this stream. And for that, I apologize, and also can do nothing about it, because as live viewers will know and podcast listeners will now be finding out, my AirPods Max are just fully not working at all, and I'm going to have to take them to Apple and get them replaced, because they literally will not connect to any other device than my my iPhone. What the heck is that? $550 product that came out, what, December? January?
Yeah, December.
So they're not old. Fully non-functional. Software bricked, essentially, right now.
Yeah, not great.
And someone has asked, can you just use a different pair of headphones? I don't currently have a different pair of headphones. I mean, I think I have one somewhere, but I don't know where they are, because I've used AirPods Max exclusively for over-ear headphones, and I live alone right now, so I just listen to music out loud most of the time because I think it's more comfortable. So I don't currently have a pair of wired headphones or Bluetooth headphones. I'm AirPods Max only, so when they break, I'm out of business, folks. That's tragic.
We got to get you a backup.
Yes, I might have to grab a pair of the Sony XM4s, which I believe you're rocking right now.
I have the Bose headphones, actually.
Oh, that's right. The Quiet Comfort 35s, right?
Yes, and they just announced or not just, but very recently announced the Quiet Comfort 45s, which are like these, but with USB-C charging and a couple other nice improvements. And I never thought they would, because I have the QC35-2s, and then there's the NC700s, which are like their fancy ones with the capacitor, like the touch controls on the side, which I don't like. But then they announced new versions of these, and I was really surprised, but I was very happy to see that they did that. So that would be my recommendation.
That, I might honestly consider that, because actually, I guess they're not going to accept a return on these AirPods Max. I'm trying it one more time just to see what happens. This time I'm going through Control Center because someone in the super chat suggested that.
Yeah.
Currently loading. Oh, there's the spinning beach ball.
Oh boy.
These are $550. That's crazy. Yeah, still frozen. All right, I can't click out of the menu now, so I can't scroll down to look at more comments. Nice. Right. Very cool. So yeah, those Bose, have you ever had issues where they don't connect at all and brick your control center?
No, that has not happened.
Huh. Wow, that's interesting.
No.
I thought that was like a thing that most headphones did. Is it not?
Well, this one, it's actually a feature, and this pair doesn't have that feature.
Oh, you don't have the... Oh, there you go. That's why you got to pay the Apple tax, folks. You get features like it not being able to connect to your desktop, and then also bricking control center so you can't click out and read comments on YouTube. That's a feature. Now, speaking of features and speaking of Apple, we've got a number of things to talk about because this isn't just AirPod Max complaining the podcast. This is Drk Mode, and we just had a pretty major launch on Friday. 4 new Apple products, or I guess you could say 6, right? 13 mini, iPhone 13, 13 Pro, Pro Max, iPad mini, iPad 10.2-inch regular edition.
Yep.
That's 3.
Yeah.
Oh, my control center's back, by the way. I mean 6, by the way.
Nice.
All right, well, off with the broken AirPods. My goodness, that's embarrassing. Anyway, so now, Noah, you've got a 13 Pro and you got an iPad mini. So we're both in the mini gang. And we're gonna save that for a little bit later because my goodness, do we both have some thoughts on the iPad mini. What color did you get yours in?
Actually, can you tell what color it is?
I mean, I know that you got purple, but holy moly, does that not look like purple?
Yes, and that is one of the many things that I want to talk about when we get to it. But I did get the purple one.
That is really weird. It doesn't look purple at all. If you're listening to the podcast and you didn't see the picture, imagine an iPad that isn't purple, and that's what it looked like.
Yeah, it honestly looks more, it looks like silver. That's what it looks like to me. Silver.
You see, I was actually really... See, here's the thing, right? Hold up your iPad mini, and I'll hold up my iPad mini. Do they not look the same color to you, more or less?
They look very, very similar. Like, the light changed it a little bit, but they look very, very similar.
Yours looks like maybe space gray.
Yeah.
See, mine looks like silver, but when I go a little off axis here, get away from the light, do you see that little hint of gold in it?
Yeah, definitely.
When we talked last week and you revealed that you ordered the purple one, I kind of regretted my decision. I was like, oh, the purple seems more fun. Now, having seen the purple, I think I made the right choice going with the Starlight because there's a lot of gold in this. It's not silver at all. Someone here just said, no way, yours is gold, Luke. It looks gold. I mean, it's basically just a really, really light, desaturated gold. When I hold it up to the light, it looks super silver, but you can see the more off-axis I go, the more the gold comes out.
Mm-hmm.
I really like it. I really hope that, like, you know how this is like the first time that we don't have space gray or silver, for that matter. If I'm not mistaken, the iPad Air still comes in one or both of those. There might not be a silver one, come to think of it. No, there's space gray and silver for the iPad Air. So this is pretty big to not have either space gray or silver. Could it be that space gray and silver are kind of going away? Because let me tell you, if they bring Midnight and Starlight to the MacBook... Am I right?
Yeah, very interesting. I would like that.
It's on the 13 too, right? We have Starlight and Midnight, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think so.
Replacing white and black. Please, can we get Starlight on a Mac? Oh my god. That would be amazing. That would be unbelievable. I'd be so happy.
That would be pretty cool.
I'd be over the moon. Let me just look
There's a joke. There's a joke in there. Starlight.
Oh, by the way, I've been mistaken. There is a space gray iPad mini. Midnight is on the iPhone 13. Apple's colors. Can we talk about that for a minute? Because I don't not necessarily as it pertains to the iPad mini, but also the iPhone 13 and the iMac and AirPods Max and the iPad Air. What the heck are they doing with the colors?
That is That is a good question. I feel like I am not a fan of the super light, super desaturated colors. I'm really not.
Yeah, I think they knocked it out of the freaking park with the iMac. I know a lot of people complained about the bezel, the chin, and the bezel and the stand on the iMac. But to be honest, I think it would have looked worse if those were all like super saturated. So having the combo, I think works really well. And they kind of did that with the AirPods Max. Like the band on top is saturated and the cups. It sort of vaguely matches the iMac, but doesn't have all of the same colors for some reason. But like, there's no continuity between anything. Like, if you wanted to color sync an Apple ecosystem, I don't know that you could. Your thoughts, Noah? While I get your thoughts here, I'm gonna go and see if there are any crossover colors that you can get like across everything.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of fun that there's like different color options. Like, let me put it this way. If Apple says we're going to have 4 color options and every single product had the same 4 like colors, on the one hand, it could be cool to color match everything. But on the other hand, if you only had like a few colors for everything, you know, you don't have as many options. I think it's kind of fun. For me personally, I think it's kind of fun. Like when I got the iPad mini, I got it in purple because I thought that would be, you know, kind of a fun color. Obviously, it, you know, really isn't very purple, but I thought it would be kind of a fun color to mix things up. When I get the iPhone, I like to get it, or at least with the 12 Pro and the 13 Pro, I got it in the sort of signature color, I guess. Like red's my favorite color, but I just like to, you know, get the cool colors and whatever. So I don't really mind that they don't color match everything. I think when they have like 2 products that say blue and they're like different shades of blue, but they're both just called blue, that's a little bit weird.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I
definitely agree. Yeah. See, you know what's weird is I think the Starlight on the iPhone 13 doesn't even look like the Starlight on the iPad mini. Those are like both brand new products. But the Starlight on the iPhone 13 looks a lot lighter. I think I see a lot more gold in the iPad mini, to be honest. And so I've just pulled it up here. The products that Apple offers in various colors. Mm-hmm. So those are, and I might have missed a few, so catch me up, chat and Noah, if I missed anything. But AirPods Max, iPhone 13 and 13 mini, iPad Air, iPad mini, and then iMac. Those are the products that Apple offers in a wide range of color, excluding, of course, you know, the iPhone Pro, which is on its own. The MacBook Air has a gold option, but that's not really like, there's not a lot of colors, right? So those are all the products that they offer that have a variety of colors.
Yeah, you could maybe make an argument for the Apple Watch as well.
Good point. I didn't think of that. Because the Series 7, will it even let me see what colors it comes in? I think it's on their page. They don't have like a order page. Yes. Okay. So there's 5. Let me run through it here. So there's 6 different Apple products that you can get in colors. We'll start with the Apple Watch Series 7. You can get that in green, which is like a very deep, saturated green. You can get it in blue, again, very deep and saturated. You can get it product red. You can get it in starlight, so sensing a little bit of continuity at least. And you can get it in midnight. Now, the midnight, by the way, is sort of like a very deep navy blue. It looks black on camera, but it comes off blue in person. So I like that. Next, we have AirPods Max. That comes in space gray, silver, pink, green, and then sky blue. So that starts our trip down the many, many different blues of Apple World, because moving over to the iPhone 13, it comes in pink, blue, midnight, starlight, and then product red, which I think this year's colors were a little bit less interesting than the 12 series. Then we have the iPad Air, also 5 colors. However, they're all different. There's space gray, silver, green, rose gold, and sky blue. Then there's the iPad mini, which comes in 4 colors. So those are space gray, pink, purple, and starlight. And then there's the iMac, which comes in blue, green, pink, silver, yellow, orange, and purple. Now, there is not a single color that carries across all of those. I just realized.
I think there's none that go across all of them. The closest you might get would probably be like blue, but they're all different shades of blue. Like it's not like they're blue, but they're very different across the product. So there really isn't any uniformity with the colors.
Yeah. So I guess blue is the closest you can get. You can't get the iPad mini in blue, but you can get the iPad Air in sky blue. But weirdly enough, I don't think it even matches the sky blue on the AirPods, and it certainly doesn't match the blue of the iMac. And then the blue of the Apple Watch is much deeper. The blue of the iPhone 13 is really more of a teal, sort of similar to the iMac, but again, not matching it. And I just don't. Okay, I get that you're not going to have like a palette, like all of the iMac colors, right? 6, 7, whatever it is. I get that you're not going to just have 7 colors and then everything comes in those colors. I like changing it up from year to year. I support that. But would it be that much to ask to just have 1 or 2 colors that went across everything? Like green. If I could get a green iMac, which I have, like if I could have gotten a green iPad mini, a green iPhone 13, and a green AirPods to go all together, I probably would have done that. I would have coordinated because that would be so nice. That'd be so cool. It's an ecosystem. Everything's supposed to go together, but none of them match.
That is true. That's very true.
Someone said they need to keep black, space gray, or graphite. Yet another good point. Remember when space gray was different every year?
Yep.
Even when things were space gray, the space grays were always different.
I mean, space is pretty big, so.
And someone said those 1 or 2 colors are white and black, but they're not. You can't even get all of the products in white or black. You can't do it. iMac has a silver, but not white. iPad mini has starlight, but not white, and space gray, but not black. iPad Air has silver, which I guess matches the iMac, but not the iPad mini because that's starlight. And same thing with the iPhone, that has starlight and midnight, but not silver or black. AirPods Max have space gray, but not black, and silver, but not white. It's like even black and white doesn't have things.
Yeah,
I want to die, says the commenter. I agree.
You could do black-ish or white-ish, but even then, like I was
worse
just
to have the shades that are close but not the same than to have just completely different colors.
Yeah, and like I have the iPhone 13 pictures and the iPad mini next to each other, and the starlight on the 13 looks like straight up white, and on the iPad it looks more gold. Like it's not the same color. You can't tell me that's the same color.
In fact, speaking of color and disappointment therein, I do want to turn my attention to the iPhone 13 and also move, in excess of color. But so did I tell you which color iPhone 13 I got?
I don't think so.
Okay, this is a good test. So I've got my iPhone 13 here. Okay. I'm going to hold it up, and I'm going to angle it around to get some different, light refractions and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And, this should be easy, right? There's how many colors? 5?
5,
you should be able to guess. You should be able to tell by looking at it what color this iPhone is. And I'll open this to those in chat as well. Keep an eye out here. What color iPhone did I get? Here it is. We're doing some rotation, showing off some different angles, turning it around. Look at that. What a beauty. Look at those horizontal cameras. Not horizontal, diagonal cameras.
I think I know which color you got.
Okay, chat seems to have gotten it nearly perfect, but there's a few people that are wrong. What do you think, Noah?
Yeah, I agree. It's definitely pink, but you can only tell when it's at like a very big angle, very large angle.
Yeah, if you look at it straight on like this, it definitely, like, the saturation is about as low as it gets.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go to a really oblique angle and frankly look at the rail. If you like right here, it's pink.
Yeah.
And here it's not. Here it's not. Like there's a very narrow range. Now in person I can tell a little bit easier, but it's just not really that pink. And
No,
the starlight isn't really that gold. I think they're too similar.
They are. I think Apple is too scared to fully commit. So they just
yeah,
didn't.
basically. And it's a shame because the purple iPhone 12 that came out in April was like brilliant. I love that.
Yeah.
It was super saturated. It was a really nice color. Like it was still kind of a pastel, but it was a really nice purple shade. But and then they're like, "Oh, we give you a pink iPhone." Womp. It's white. Womp.
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they could do
though,
more.
Have you seen a look at chat here? People are saying that they like the pink. That it's not super in your face. That's an interesting take. I think there's room for it to be more pink without being in your face still.
Yeah, and I would say, because I'm looking, and I know we haven't quite gotten here yet, but like the Sierra Blue, I feel like that's a very good, because that's another one where it's not in your face, but it's definitely not like white or whatever.
That's a good point.
I think that's
Apple
a good color.
on a pretty good roll with their Pro colors.
Definitely.
11 Pro, 12 Pro, 13 Pro. The Midnight Green I really liked. The Pacific Blue I obviously really liked. And then now we can talk about the Sierra Blue and more specifically about the entire iPhone, because at this point we've spent 20 minutes talking about colors. But I'm really digging Sierra Blue. In fact, you know what, Noah? I think we need to get a poll going on here because there have been a number of disagreements I've seen. People have varying opinions on the Sierra Blue. So while we get this poll pulled up, let's get the chat's take on this. What do we think, folks? Is Sierra Blue good? Are you holding out for high Sierra Blue? That was pretty good.
That's pretty good.
It's
all right.
Oh, you have it?
Well, so for our poll, so are we thinking like a good or a bad? Do we want to be a little more specific with the options? What's the poll?
I think what we should do, let's do a simple one.
Okay.
To start us off here. Is High Sierra Blue a good color? Yes or no? Simple.
Very simple.
Very, very simple. And once you have that ready to go, I will put up the URL for those who are following along at home.
Should be up there.
Okie dokie. So you can follow along with us by going to app.drkmodepodcast.com, and that'll allow you to vote in our poll. Now, people in chat are sounding off, I think, majority positive, but if you all take a quick jump over to app.darkmodepodcast.com, you can make your votes official. Now, I'm going to put up my screen here. And I don't know, maybe this is spoiling the, sort of tampering with the results, but I'm going to go for yes because I think objectively it's really good. Wow. So far it seems like we've got a not necessarily consensus, but certainly a massive majority. We've got 27 votes, 79% saying yes, it's a good color, and we've got 7 votes, 21% saying no. Ooh, the no's are catching up. We're down to 75-25.
Interesting.
This is quite curious here. This is interesting. I don't know, I got the sense, at least on tech Twitter, which is where I sort of go to get an idea of what people are thinking about things, I got the sense that people were somewhat mixed on it. And I've seen a lot of people saying, oh, the Pacific Blue is better. In fact, maybe that could be our next poll. Pacific Blue is better? Question mark? Yes or no?
Yeah, we could do, would you prefer Sierra Blue or Pacific Blue?
But, I mean, and I don't know, maybe that's not a fair question. I legitimately don't know what I would say in terms of which I prefer. I think, wow, wait a minute. I want to say Sierra Blue, but that might just be because it's the new color and it's fresh, whereas I've been looking at Sierra Blue for a year already. So that might be affecting it. People in chat are saying Pacific Blue easily better. Easily.
Easily, wow.
Okay, final answer. I'm going to go with Sierra Blue, I prefer, to Pacific Blue. That's my final answer.
It's hard. I have both of them in front of me right now, and I'm looking.
So do I.
I'm looking at them. I don't know.
It's tough.
I feel like it's the thing that like the Sierra Blue is the new one, so I'm like more. But I don't know. It's like that this really light color. It doesn't. It looks blue. It sometimes it doesn't look blue. It looks more like a gray, I guess. But like I don't know. It's nice and like with the lighter side rails. Like, I don't know. They both look really good.
I will say though, I have using the 13 Pro. It really makes me think about this as an S here. Because there's been times where I've found myself turning the phone around and going, "Oh, that's right, it is the new one."
Mm-hmm.
Like it really doesn't feel any different, which is, I think. I mean, I guess it's not that bad, right? It's not that crazy that they didn't change the design. You know, people were kind of surprised. The iPhone didn't get changed very much. I mean, you go back in time, you look at the iPhone 6. That basically didn't get changed for 3 full cycles. The iPhone 6, 6S, and 7 are like nothing. Design-wise, what we just had, I think, is akin to iPhone 6S to iPhone 7. Would you agree?
Yeah, there was definitely the 7. There were definitely some minor differences that you could notice. On this one, they did like move the oh, my camera's off. That's
you're in
wonderful.
the void.
I will swap batteries in a moment here. But they did move like the side buttons. They moved them around a little bit. Obviously the camera bump's a lot bigger, the notch is a little bit smaller. So it's one of those things where they did some small tweaks to the like hardware, but or to the like, you know, appearance, but it looks very similar to the 12 series. So yeah, definitely like a 7 kind of thing.
Yeah, definitely. And compared to, and then after the iPhone 7, right? Then we had the iPhone 8. So the iPhone 8 was, again, a continuation of the iPhone 6. And in fact, we still have that around. The freaking iPhone SE, brand new phone that you can still buy with a design from 2014. So it's not that crazy. It's not that unprecedented for Apple to keep designs around a while. But then we had the 10 to the 10S. If you put those things side by side, there's only one way that you can differentiate an iPhone 10 and an iPhone 10s. And do you know what that is, Noah?
Is it the camera?
No.
A 10? Is it the speakers?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to fix my camera now.
The only difference from a design standpoint between the iPhone 10 and the 10s is that the 10s, well, first of all, comes in gold. So if you see a gold one, it's a 10s. The speaker grills on the bottom of the iPhone 10 are uniform. There's 6 holes on either side for the speaker and for the microphone. On the 10s and then on the 11, which I have here, there is a cellular band, and they cut down to 3 holes. That's the only difference between a 10 and a 10s visually. So, yes, I understand that people were a little underwhelmed this year. That's understandable, but it's not that surprising. Now, in terms of the actual phones themselves, are these a substantive enough upgrade to justify the upgrade? Well, I don't know if you saw my video, Noah, but basically my review of the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max was, just go for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, I did actually see that video.
And for those in chat or listening who may have missed it, basically it boils down to, if you bought an iPhone 12 Pro or a 12 Pro Max last year, then your phone is worth about $800 or $900 respectively for the base models. So what that means is that obviously within a realm of reason, your phone has depreciated about $200. Maybe you want to say $300 because you're going to have some eBay fees, margin of error, sales tax on the phone when you bought it, whatever you want to say. But the thing is, if you own a phone for 1 year, $200 in value depreciates from it. If you own your phone for 2 years, an iPhone 11 Pro Max or an 11 Pro, those are worth about $400 less than they were new, which means that they depreciated $200 a year. The same also applies on the iPhone 10 and 10s. So up to 4 years old, your phone depreciates, at least in terms of like the $999 and the $1099 phones, depreciate at $200 a year, which means if you buy your phone outright at launch day, why not upgrade every year? It's a linear depreciation curve. You're going to lose $200 a year on depreciation anyway, so you might as well lose it on the newest phone instead of on your 11 Pro. That's my logic.
Yeah, I mean, if you're willing to take the time and the small amount of risk to sell your phone every year and get the new one, then I feel like it's totally worth it.
I also want to point out that we have a 50-50 split here on Sierra Blue versus Pacific Blue, which is really interesting. 20 votes for each.
Mm-hmm.
That is really interesting. And is this poll done yet?
It ends in a little over a minute. It'll refresh itself every 5 seconds, but it's still open for the next minute and a half.
Sierra Blue's pulling out a lead. 22 votes to 20. My goodness. Now, someone said, what if you don't sell your old phones? That's a good point. And, that if you keep your phones for more than 4 years, then it becomes worth it to, space out your upgrades and wait for like big years. But I think you would find that the number of people that keep their iPhones for more than 4 years is not a huge number. And you could also make the argument that some people don't sell the phone, they pass it on to a family member. I've definitely done that a few times. I think my brother is still using my iPhone 7 Plus from 2016.
It's a throwback.
Not out of force, but out of choice, weirdly. He has to charge it 3 times a day because the battery is at like 70% capacity.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I think it's having cellular degradation, which is a big problem on those phones. So, I'm not entirely sure why he's so attached to it, but he refuses to upgrade. I've tried. Refuses to upgrade. Won't do it. It's 5 years old now.
Interesting. Very interesting. And our poll has now closed, and Sierra Blue has came out in the lead. 41 votes for Sierra Blue, 31 votes for Pacific Blue.
Interesting. So looks like, I don't know, maybe you could chalk that up to the newness bias. We've been
I
looking
think so.
at Pacific Blue for a while. Sierra Blue's the fresh one that's on all the billboards. So I guess that kind of makes sense. Now, in terms of the iPhone 13, why don't we put up a poll for the different colors of the iPhone 13, shall we?
All right.
I've got my review of the iPhone 13 filmed. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to pull the trigger on that upload, waiting for sponsor approval. But I've got it all ready to go. Ah, yes. Everything is ringing. Everything in my home is ringing. That's one of my favorite parts about getting any sort of a call when you have the Apple ecosystem on a scale of someone who reviews Apple products professionally is everything in the entire universe starts ringing at once. Anyway, I've got my review ready to go, locked and loaded for the iPhone 13. Also, my camera defocused. That's fun. Hey, get back here. Hey, buddy. Hey. Oh, man. I think it might be overheating. Oh, it's back. All right. Anyway, the 13 is really, really good, but it lives in the shadows. That's basically the crux of it. It's halfway between saving money and going for an older phone and just going for the main event, the Pro. Mm-hmm. It gives you some of the new features and some of the new design, but it holds back just enough to make you go, should I just pay that little extra? Ooh, I want the macro photography. Ooh, I think the ProRes might be cool. Ooh, I really like the stainless steel rails. It's a delicate line that they toe.
Yeah. It's interesting when the prices, and the poll's up, by the way, if you want to refresh.
Oh yeah.
But it's interesting when the prices are so close to, and then when they have some of like the older models available as well. Like when the difference, you have a bunch of phones with a small price difference between them, then it's, a little tricky for some people, it's a little tricky to figure out, do I spend a little more money for this, or do I, stick with with this one?
That's true. I don't know. Obviously everything that Apple does is incredibly calculated. So when it came down to picking features, it's all very intricately worked out internally. And I address this in my video tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully it's not later than that, because I feel like nobody's interested in iPhone 13 content anymore. Partially because I think hype this year is pretty low for the iPhone, to be honest. That's been my take on it. My video did pretty well compared to how my content has been doing lately, because I think I had a pretty interesting angle. But in terms of just, the standard, like iPhone 13, this is my, catchy tagline. Those types of videos seem to be underperforming. In fact, I even think that the iPad mini has been underperforming. I feel like the reviewers that got the initial batch, pre-launch day, got pretty good views. But by launch day, I feel like a lot of the people were like, oh, okay, there you go. And someone just said that they liked my review of the Mini. I appreciate that. I actually spent a long time working on that, probably 8 or 9 hours, just in production, because I really like this product. My audience isn't super into iPad content, which is interesting, because I feel like it would have made more sense for iPhone content to do worse than iPads. I feel like obviously Mac stuff is what most of you guys come for, and I would have thought, seems like iPhone content is less close to that than iPad content.
Right.
But when I've done the M1 iPad Pro review, that bombed. The iPad Mini review is at a solid 9 out of 10 right now.
Mm.
So it seems like people, at least on my channel, aren't as interested in iPads. But I know, Noah, you wanted to talk about the iPad mini. So I guess we could do that now, because I think this is, in my opinion, the biggest product that came out, right? There's of course the regular 10.2-inch iPad, which I just posted a video on today. And I mean, this is a great product. You literally can't go wrong with the 10.2-inch iPad. It's got center stage now. It's got an A13 Bionic True Tone, and it comes with 64 gigs of storage for $330. Heck yeah, brilliant. Watch my video on it. I've actually got another one planned for it too, so stay tuned.
Interesting. Yeah, I definitely want to talk about the iPad mini. I guess let's just really quick, the poll is about to end, and I think we have some interesting results on the iPhone 13 color.
Yeah.
So we have I guess it's going to end in 30 seconds, but Blue and Starlight are pretty much tied for first at around 31% of the vote. Blue pulled ahead a little bit, but
pulling ahead at the very end here. We got 30 votes, 33% for Blue, 27 votes, 30% for Starlight.
Yeah, and it looks like So then we have Midnight is taking third place right now. It is 22%, and okay, the poll should be over now. Then Product Red is at 10%, and Pink is all the way at the bottom at 4%.
That's actually very surprising.
Luke.
I feel bad. I feel like Pink, I know we kind of ragged on it a little bit, but I like it. I don't know. I mean, I wish it was more pink. I feel like if you're going to do a pink iPhone, you got to kind of commit to it a little bit, but I think it's a fun color. I like it more than the Starlight, because I think the Starlight was just kind of white and kind of boring. Realistically though, I think you guys were correct. I think Blue was the way to go. Wait, did it just tie up at the very end here?
Yep. Blue and Starlight tied up at 32%.
31 votes for each. That's actually surprising. I thought Blue was going to win by a pretty substantial margin, to be honest. That's the one that I would pick.
Yeah.
I say I would pick. I did pick, and I picked Pink, but that's just because I didn't want to get both of the blues. I feel like, I wanted to have some options there.
Yeah.
But I do like this blue. I like the 13 blue more than the 12 blue. I will say that.
Yeah, that's fair. And I think I personally voted for blue in this poll. It would be between blue and red, but I don't know. The red is like so loud. Maybe I would like that, but the blue, that's just like such a nice shade of blue.
I agree.
I don't know. I voted for the blue, so that's my opinion.
So if we hadn't voted, Starlight would have won, because we're 2 of those 31 votes.
Interesting. I don't know. The Starlight would probably be my last. Nah, the Pink would probably be my last choice, to be honest. But then
Really?
Starlight. It's just. I would rather have Blue, Product Red, or Midnight. Those would be my first. Probably in that order: Blue, Product Red, Midnight, then Starlight, then Pink. That would probably be my ranking.
I would probably go blue, then pink, then midnight, then product red, then Starlight.
Interesting. I don't know. I don't see myself with a pink phone, and I don't know, the white, I'd rather have some kind of a cut. Like the Starlight looks so, maybe it's different in person, but it looks really white on the website.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I feel like I had the white iPhone 10 and I liked that color a lot, but now that there's like more color options, I want to have a fun color.
Because when it was between white and space gray, gosh, I'm glad that we don't have that predicament anymore.
Yeah.
Wow. How boring was that? Semicolon. It still is boring on the Mac. Please, Apple, bring us some more colors to the Mac. That would be awesome. But anyway.
Yes.
We need to talk about this iPad mini here, because
we do.
There is a lot to say. I want to get your thoughts first, Noah, because I've had quite a bit of a yo-yo situation on my opinion on the iPad mini. And I'm really curious to hear what people think. I do also want to shout out for the super chats here. Thank you, Gabriel. What do you think, Noah? Which Like, what's your take on the iPad Mini? And we'll put this up to chat as well. If you have an iPad Mini, or if you have seen one in person, I feel like you have to see one in person to really develop like legitimate opinions on it, because in the mind it occupies a very different space than in reality. I think it's sort of a
Yes.
metaphysical iPad in many ways.
Oh, that's very deep. But no, I do understand. I agree with what you're saying. My opinion, if I were to make a review of this iPad, which I'm not going to do because it's too much effort, but if I were to make a review, this is my review of the iPad right now, because this is like no effort. My sensational headline would be, I'm returning the iPad Mini, but it made me love my iPad Pro even more. That's my headline.
That's a run-on sentence.
It is.
The algorithm won't like that much at all.
Well, that's why I'm not making the video.
There you go.
But that's my thesis statement, my maverick sentence, if you will.
It was very maverick.
Yes.
Did you use any forbidden words? I didn't check.
I'd have to imagine most of those words were.
Yeah, probably.
Anyways, let me try and go into a little bit of detail.
Yes.
To explain. So I have my iPad Mini right here for now, and I have my iPad Pro. This is the 11-inch 2018 iPad Pro. So it's the first one with the Face ID and the rounded corners and all of that stuff. And first, I got to give it a shout out, because this came out almost 3 years ago. It was like November 2018. So it's been almost 3 years since it came out. It is
October even.
It was October 2018?
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah, I think I got it at the very beginning of November, but it was probably announced in October 2018. So it's been about 3 years with that iPad. It is still just as fast as it was when I first got it. The battery life, I mean, I don't use it all that much, but like when I do use it, the battery life is just as good, you know, as far as I can tell, or at least for what I do with it, it's just as good as it was. Like, it's been 3 years. And when you look at the upgrades, like you compare this to like the M1 iPad Pro, I have zero interest in upgrading. Zero interest. Like with the 13 Pro, if that weren't, you know, if my employer weren't paying for that phone, I wouldn't have upgraded to it, but I would have at least been kind of interested. You know, the ProMotion is nice. You know, the new color, whatever, some other stuff. And then, you know, I would basically reset my battery, so I would end up with better battery life as well.
True.
So I'd at least have some,
and a much better battery life on top of that, like even compared to a new iPhone 12 Pro. So that's yeah. I definitely get what you're saying.
Definitely. So I would at least have some desire to upgrade, even though, you know, I wouldn't have if it, you know, weren't paid for. But with the iPad Pro, I have, like, even if someone offered me an M1 iPad Pro, I mean, I guess I would, you know, take it obviously, but like, I don't think I would even really notice a difference. Like, I have zero. So I'm just saying, I want to give a shout out to the 2018 iPad Pro. Very solid machine. But I got the iPad Mini. I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to do with it, or like why I wanted to get it, but I thought it might be nice for like, I guess like media consumption and you know, some games. That's basically my thoughts. And so I did some experiments, you know, with some of the mobile games that I have, and, you know, YouTube and whatever. And I basically compared, you know, the iPhone, the iPad Mini, and the iPads. Like, I would pull up a video on YouTube, I'd watch 1 minute on one device, switch over, watch the next minute, and I'd just keep switching back and forth to kind of see. Because my thought was, you have this iPad Mini, this smaller, you know, it's smaller and it's lighter than the iPad Pro, obviously, but it's, you know, a lot bigger than the iPhone. I thought it would lead to a better experience. And I'll pause there for a second if you want to chime in.
Oh, I was just gonna say that I totally agree about the M1 iPad Pro. That's one of the reasons I was interested in this iPad Mini, is that the 2018 iPad Pro was so good that it completely ruined any chance that future iPads had of beating it. I also have the 2018 iPad. You, I believe, have 256 gigabytes. I have 64. So 64 is a little tight. I make do because I'm a pretty light iPad OS user. And the fact that you can get those 2018s for $500 right now is almost too good to pass up. They are as cheap as the iPad Air, but they are better, and they have promotion. Boom, done. Yeah. The colors on the iPad Air are so boring that I would much rather have promotion. So I would absolutely go for a 2018 iPad. The 2020, the 2021, the current iPad Pro, I've got the 12.9. I got it because of the mini LED. If it didn't have that, there's a pretty decent chance that I wouldn't have gotten it. Also, 12.9-inch iPad Pros are stupid. Unless you're doing artistic things on it, in which case, absolutely go for it. Or like note-taking or anything where you're basically using it as a writing tablet. But as Apple positions it sort of as a computer replacement, it is an absolutely terrible one. The M1 chip is not necessary. The A12X and Z are more than adequate. The A15 in the iPad mini is it's about the same actually in terms of performance as the A12X and Z. Phenomenal. Great. Don't need anything more than that. I will say though, the M1 will enable these current iPads to last approximately 4,000 years.
Yeah.
Like it will. The thing is, I legitimately think that M1 devices might be the first Macs to get 10 years of product support. I think that's a pretty real possibility. But as it pertains to the actual iPad mini itself, I was excited because it represented a continuation of the iPad Pro experience that didn't feel like it was something that could be dismissed by saying, oh, just get a 2018 iPad Pro. And now back to you, Noah, for your regularly scheduled review.
Yes. So yes, one of my greatest passions in life is lying in bed and watching YouTube videos, and I'm very good at it. And so I thought that the iPad mini would be a really good, I guess, middle ground to get like a bigger screen and, maybe better speakers than the phone, but still have a good experience. And so again, I had my 3 devices and I switched back and forth between them. Basically what I found was the iPhone was good because you can easily, if I have it in landscape, you can easily hold it in one hand, no questions, and it's close to your face, so you don't have to worry about, like it's a smaller screen, but it's really close to your face, and the speakers are still great and whatever. And then I tried with the iPad Pro, and it's obviously a lot bigger and it's a bit heavier than the iPad mini, but I really didn't notice a difference. And the main thing, or I didn't notice that the weight was too much. The main thing is I can't hold the iPad mini in one hand if I'm lying in bed and watching videos, because either you hold it like this where your hand is on the screen and it starts scrubbing through the video and you can't play it, or if you hold it like this in one hand, which you can do, but then when you're lying and you want to tilt it down, when I'm lying in bed and I have the iPad mini facing me and I'm trying to tilt it down like this, it's so uncomfortable that it just doesn't work. And so then I have to hold it in 2 hands. And so you hold it like this, on the sides, but there's so little room on the sides because there's speakers here and speakers here. So you have a little bit of room that I found if I didn't position my hands perfectly, then I would start covering up the speakers and then it wouldn't sound as good. Whereas you take the bigger iPad and you have plenty of room to put your hands. And again, you can hold it like this. You put your hands here and you have plenty of room here that there's not the speakers. And it's not that much heavier. You get a bigger screen. You get quad channel. You get quad speakers instead of dual speakers. And I found the iPad Mini to be like, I guess it's sort of in the middle, but it's almost like the worst of both, or it's like a worse iPad Pro, I guess, but it just that was the first thing. And then also for games, I tried some games on the iPad mini versus the iPad Pro, some games with on-screen controls, and I found that it wasn't any like easier to hold or like easier to control or any better. I thought it was pretty much the same between the two devices. Obviously you're getting a bigger screen on the iPad Pro, but I didn't think that the mini didn't. I don't know. I basically I found that anything I wanted to do on the mini, I could do on the iPad Pro at least just as well. And so that's why, my headline was I'm going to return the iPad mini, but I love the Pro even more because I would always keep the Pro in the keyboard case, and not the Magic Keyboard, but the keyboard folio, and I would keep it with the pencil on. When you add this case to it, it makes it like twice as thick, or it makes it a lot thicker, and it makes it a lot heavier. And then when you put, even the pencil doesn't do all that much, but when you have the pencil on and you're holding it, it's pretty easy to like accidentally do this, if you accidentally touch it and it starts flying around. But when I took those things off of the iPad, like I had with the iPad mini, and I just tried to use it just straight up like a tablet, I found that I actually liked it even more. And obviously the keyboard and the pencil are good for some things, but like you take it off that and then you compare it to the iPad mini, and just for me it's just as good. Like I got the mini because it would be smaller and lighter and like, easier and whatever, but when you take the iPad Pro, naked by itself and then you compare it, it's, I don't know, there's just not, the mini doesn't, the smallness of the mini doesn't do much for me, if that makes sense.
I definitely agree. I've also been actually, so what made me appreciate the iPad Pro 11-inch in the same way was the iPad Pro 12.9, because as soon as I got that, and I was super tethered to not just the keyboard, but also to hard flat surfaces, because if you put the 12.9-inch on your lap or on a bed, the thing is so top heavy, it just falls over, and you're spending, whenever you're typing, if it's on your lap, your hands aren't resting, they're holding it upright. It's kind of a terrible experience, to be honest.
Yeah.
Not to mention all of the additional thickness and weight and all of that stuff. So from that, I was going back to my 11-inch iPad Pro going, oh my gosh, it's so thin, it's so light, the bezels are tiny. And I've been using it away from keyboard case, landscape and portrait, a lot of portrait. I think it's just I just think it's a better form factor. Now, as far as I do want to actually real quick address when we were talking about how the iPad Pro 2018 is so good, someone said, why are you saying they shouldn't keep improving iPads? That's not what we were saying at all. Not even close.
Yeah.
We were saying that they can't. The iPad Pro 2018 is so good that there's nothing that they can really add to it right now for a little while that would be compelling enough to lead people to upgrade. That's the issue. It's not that we don't want them to improve. I would love for there to be an 11-inch iPad Pro that comes out that is so good that I look at my 2018 and say, I gotta upgrade, I gotta have this. But right now, they've tried cameras, they've tried LiDAR, they've tried M1, they even tried mini LED in the 12.9-inch. None of those have been enough to say, this is an upgrade you should do. When I reviewed the 12.9-inch iPad Pro, I said, if you want a 12.9-inch iPad Pro, go buy a refurbished one from Apple for $700, and you're done. That's all you need. You don't need any of the M1 or the mini LED. You just don't need that stuff.
Yep.
Now, in terms of the iPad mini, so initially my first reaction was, oh my God, it's so cute. Holy crap, I love it. It's adorable. Yep. It's the cutest thing I've ever seen. I want to hold it all the time. I want to have it on my pillow next to me in bed so I can look at it. It's amazing. My second thought was when I turned it on and set it up, and that was, oh my good Lord, they need to increase the font size. I've got it right now. So I reconfigured mine, right? I used larger icons. I used larger system font. Widgets are illegible If you're over the age of 30, chances are you won't be able to read what is on the screen in a good amount of this iPad's apps. The widgets do not fit. They don't make any sense. They need to retool that. They need to retool the scaling. They need to have some scaling. They just, something's got to give here, folks. Now, setting that aside, because some of that is iPad OS 15 stuff, like the spacing of the apps, the fact that there's so much dead space. Or look at this. Look how much freaking dead space there is.
It really looks bad.
This looks stupid. This is dumb. But I don't need it. It's an 8-inch screen. Why is there an inch of just blank wallpaper on either side? That's idiotic. Anyway, setting that aside, because that can be fixed in software. The actual hardware of the device, I really like. So the vertical keyboard is pretty much the perfect size. You can thumb type it in vertical mode. And that's big, I think, because like you said, Noah, using the iPad Pro away from the keyboard, I feel like I run into limitations more often. Whereas using this, I don't even have a keyboard for it. And I have found myself using this pretty frequently and comfortably because you can be sitting there one-handed and just super easily, like, look, it's a flick of the wrist, boom, you're in landscape mode. And then, like, I'm going through email, looking at stuff here. You can one-hand through email because you can swipe over here. I've been two-handing it. I basically have it set up so that I can pull it out, and then this finger hits Touch ID, and I'm off to the races. And then it's kind of like a PS Vita, you hold it like a Nintendo Switch or I don't know why a PS Vita was where I went first. That's like ancient. I really just dated myself there. But you can two-hand it pretty easily. You can't horizontal thumb type quite, but I put it down and I can type very comfortably on it. I think it's a pretty compelling form factor. And I think the main uses, I think we're almost out of time here, so we'll go pretty soon here. But I think the main uses for this, number one, pilots and doctors. Those are people that frequently use the previous generation iPad minis. This is the same width as the outgoing iPad mini, which was really, really popular among doctors because this thing is the exact same width of a lab coat front pocket, which means you can just stick it in your pocket, bring it out, carry notes, put an Apple Pencil on it. Fantastic. If you're a doctor or a nurse, I imagine these things are going to be popular. Another use case, kids. Got some, give them one of these. It's small, so are they. There you go. Kids, perfect. Put a case on it so they don't demolish it, and there you go.
Yep.
Another use case is me. Because when I film videos, I always have a note app with either a script or talking points or have articles that I'm talking about. If it's news, I always have something pulled up. And I can hold this one-handed a lot easier than an iPad Pro 11-inch. So I can be sitting there. I can even gesticulate with my hands like I normally do because I'm Italian. And it doesn't show up on camera because it's small. Unlike an iPad Pro where you have to hold it, like you can't really do this. With the iPad Pro, you kind of have to adopt a side saddle grip or a thumb pinch grip, which isn't as, I can't gesture with one hand frantically while I ramble into a camera and then cut it all out later. But with this, I can't. So for that reason, this is staying. I'm also really curious to see what happens when they fix the scaling issues, because I imagine it'll happen eventually. iPad OS 15 needs to be just reworked in general, so I won't judge it too much. But I think there's a lot of potential here. Oh, one thing I do hate, I bet you hate this too, Noah, the gosh dang volume buttons.
Yes, totally agree.
I cannot figure out I don't know which one is up and down still. I think in is up and out is down.
I think so, but that's it's weird because
strange.
It's not up and down really anymore. It's like side and side. I don't know. I didn't like that.
Yeah, left and right is controlling up and down. I guess it makes sense in landscape mode if you hold it in this landscape orientation because then it's up and down. But if you hold it the other way, then I guess all bets are off. It's just a little bit A little bit quirky,
I want to
a
do.
little bit wacky.
I want to do a quick. I know we're over time. I want to do a quick rapid fire for 1 minute, and then we can end. So some of the things that I wasn't a fan of with the iPad Mini. First of all, as we said, the software, and obviously, hopefully they're going to fix that. But at launch, it genuinely seems like they didn't test it. It genuinely seems like they just flashed iPad OS 15 onto the screen size and they're like, all right, it works, let's ship it out. Like, it seems like they did not do the proper like testing and like, design work to make it actually function well. There's also this weird thing where a lot of apps aren't optimized and you'll get these tiny little black bars on either the top and bottom or the left and right, because I think the screen is like a little bit taller than like a normal iPad or something.
I've noticed that.
It's not that big of a deal, but it's like the app itself is still rounded, but then you get like an extra little inch or half an inch or whatever, and then you get the edge of the screen. So there's like some black bar, whatever. Not that big of a deal. It's just kind of weird. The lack of ProMotion is really noticeable. It's just unfortunate timing because, the iPhone just got it. So like I see it on my iPhone and I'm like, ooh, this is so cool. And then I switch over to the iPad Mini, which doesn't have it. And then I'm like, oh, well, now it's like, it's extra noticeable. So sort of poor timing with the launch. But it is kind of, and again, it's not that big of a deal, but it's something that I noticed. I don't like Touch ID as much as Face ID, or at least I don't like this implementation as much. I will very often, like if I pick up the thing and I'll like click the button and it'll unlock and then immediately turn itself on, because it was like in the middle of waking up and then I clicked the button instead of tapping it. So it's like, oh, I'm going to unlock, and then it just turns itself off. And I know that I would get used to that, but like for now, that's something that annoyed me.
Yeah, because I tap to wake, and then I click to unlock, and it just turns off. That's what I basically do. You got to get used to the rest mechanism. If you're watching live, you can probably see the little animation for resting it, but it is definitely a little bit. It takes some getting used to. Because I'm so used to tap to waking and Face ID, like I don't touch the lock button on my iPad Pro very often. I do, but only for turning it off. And so now that I look at it and I'm like, wait, why is it not unlocking? Oh yeah, I got to do this. Or another thing that I do, you probably do this too, Noah, is you tap to wake and then you swipe it and then you're like, oh man. Yeah. It takes some getting used to, but I won't hold it against it because at $500, I don't think I would expect it to have ProMotion and Face ID.
That's fair. That's totally fair.
Though it is expensive, I think. I think the old price point of $399. I think in a year or two it'll get back to that price point, and that'll be a really good deal. At that point, at $400, as is, I would say yeah, definitely. At $500, I would say wait for a sale and wait for an update, but I think there's potential.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's other things that I would say, but I'm blanking on them. The last thing I'll say is 64 as the base storage kind of sucks. And I know that they do it so that you'll upgrade to 256, but like 128, at least for me and at least for the past couple years and probably the next couple years, that's like the perfect amount for me.
I agree. And with that, I also agree that we should end the podcast now. Don't you?
Yes, we are a bit over time here, which we had a lot to talk about, so that's all right.
Yeah, and we might revisit some of this stuff next week because, this is our first, we're 48 hours into these things. Stuff might change. I have a feeling you're probably going to return the iPad Mini, but give it like you have 2 weeks, right? Give it a few days, see if it changes your mind. It's certainly growing on me. So we'll see what happens.
All right. Fair enough.
I have been your host, Luke Miani.
And I've been your host, Noah Rubin. We will see you next week. Have a great night.